Monster Hunter Freedom Unite was my first ever Monster Hunter game, and in all honesty, it is still my favourite out of all of them. It might be a bit clunky at times, and there may be some issues with it, and it is honestly a pretty old game at this point, but I genuinely think it still holds up as a really good Monster Hunter game even today. And I genuinely think if you're a Monster Hunter fan, or even if you're not a Monster Hunter fan, or if you're a new or an old Monster fan, no matter what you are, I think that you should give Monster Hunter Freedom Unite a shot. And you should honestly go play it right now if you can. One of the main reasons I think Monster Hunter Freedom Unite is amazing is it's basically the ultimate game of the really early gen games. So it's obviously the final Gen 2 game, but it has pretty much everything Gen 1 and Gen 2 has it, you know, excluding towns and stuff, but monster-wise, weapon-wise, all that sort of stuff. It's got everything in it. You've got all sorts of monsters, everything from the very first Monster Hunter up until, you know, the end of 2nd Gen. You've got all of that. All the weapons, well, you actually have more weapons than the older ones because there's extra weapon varieties, and you get, honestly, there's just so many monsters in Freedom Unite, and there's actually a lot of unique ones that don't appear 2nd Gen onwards. Like, just a couple of the examples is like Yamisakami, Hypnocturus, Copper Blangonga, and those sorts of monsters. Those monsters don't show up in any Monster Hunter game, so far at least, I'll say that, so far, any Monster Hunter game, other than Freedom Unite, or earlier, some of those are Freedom Unite exclusive as well. And it may be a bit nostalgia clouded in my brain, but I feel like Freedom Unite really has a distinct charm that a lot of Monster Hunter games have, but it really has its own charm. There's just something really special about Freedom Unite, and any of you guys that have played it, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And any of you guys that haven't played it, seriously, this is why I want you to play it. You will love it. And especially with like the soundtracks in Freedom Unite, the soundtracks are amazing. I mean, don't even get me started on just Poke Village itself, but like all the soundtracks. I'll play a little snippet of Poke Village now. Isn't it just so amazing? And then there's also the Guild Hall. I'll play a snippet now. And then the farm. I absolutely love the farm theme. I'll play a snippet of that now as well. And as I said, like, it may be a bit nostalgia clouded, especially with the music, but to me, the music really, I don't know, the soundtrack is just so good. There definitely is a bit of nostalgia in there because it reminds me of, like, you know, being 10, 11-ish years old. I'm just like, oh, such good times, etc. But generally, the soundtrack is really just on point. Now, there obviously are a few downsides with Freedom Unite versus the more modern Monster Hunters, and one of those is it's pretty clunky, like with the hitboxes. So one of some of the most notorious hitboxes is the Plesioth hip check, which I'm sure if you guys haven't even played the older gen, you've probably heard of the Plesioth hip check. And also, one of the ones which pains me the most is Tigrex. Just Tigrex's spin, Tigrex's almost everything. His hitboxes are horrible at times. It's very annoying. So when you go play Freedom Unite after this video, just keep in mind, you probably will get very, very angry at some of the monsters' moves, because their hitboxes are just so bad. One that's actually really notorious, I just remembered, is Nagakuga's Tail Slam. Guys, prepare yourself for Nagakuga's Tail Slam. It is so bad. And especially if you're listening to this and you've only played 5th gen onwards, so like, you know, World, Rise, Wilds, etc., it's going to be really bad. Like, the hitboxes are going to be really bad. Just prepare for that, and please don't give up on it if you get really annoyed. I promise you, Freedom Unite is a great game. And alongside the clunky hitboxes, Freedom Unite can be quite difficult. Like, it is a relatively difficult game. It's known for being quite difficult. A lot of that is due to the clunky hitboxes, I can't lie, but a lot of it is also just because a lot of the monsters are damage sponges, and they do a lot of damage. So like, especially when you get up to G rank, so like Guild Hall stuff, because all of Guild Hall is scaled for 4 players. Even if you're playing solo, the health is scaled to 4 players. So if you can do multiplayer, that would probably be good, because then, you know, obviously it's helpful and the monsters won't be attacking you every 2 seconds. They'll actually share their focus with other players. But other than that, it is actually quite a difficult game. There's some really difficult monsters late game, which I started playing the game in like 2009, 2010, somewhere around there. I'm not sure the exact time. And in this series, a monster like White Fatalis as an example, I was never actually able to kill him G rank back when I first played. I only first ever time killed him in the Monster Hunter Freedom Unite series that I've been doing. That's the first time I ever killed him. That was like 12, 13, 14 years after I first played it, something like that. I'm not sure the exact time. So like there is a lot of difficulty in the game, but at the same time, like this may sound like something that's making you not want to play the game, but Monster Hunter games are meant to be challenging. You're meant to have issues. You're meant to rage quit at times. It's meant to be hard. Like that's the whole entire point of Monster Hunter. Because then you get to actually triumph over a monster. Like, Lost, back when I first played Monster Hunter years ago, me and my brother, we couldn't complete it. We were stuck on Lost for so long. And you know the absolute feeling of elation when we actually managed to take him down? Nothing beats that. Monster Hunter just has such a unique reward scale that when you're stuck on a monster for so long and you finally get to take it down, that feeling is, honestly, it's amazing. It's unparalleled. And in Freedom Unite, and just older Monster Hunters in general, I feel like it's a lot more apparent. Like the newer games, 5th gen onwards, you still get that feeling somewhat, but I don't know. There's just something about Freedom Unite and the older games that just gives you much more of a feeling of just excitement. And I think one thing, specifically of Freedom Unite and a lot of the other games, but you don't know when the monster's going to die. It's like you don't have the health, like the little heartbeat thing in the corner. You don't have a skull on the map. None of that sort of stuff. It's just, if the monster doesn't limp, you've got no idea when it's gonna die. It will just randomly die. You're just fighting it, you've got 2 seconds on the clock, you do your final swing, and boom, it's dead. And that's from experience. Me and my brother killed Lost. I think it was with 1, 2, or 3 seconds. I can't remember how many seconds it was. But it was 1, 2, or 3 seconds left on the clock, and we actually managed to defeat it. God, that was such a good day. And see, that's a perfect example. That was 14-ish years ago, maybe 15. I still remember it to this day, vividly in my mind. I remember that exact moment. And like, you don't have to play solo. Like, I've done through the whole Freedom Unite series solo. You don't have to do solo. It is a lot more difficult solo. If you've got a group of friends, even just one friend, 2 people is better than 1. And like, a multiplayer can make some things a bit more difficult because it can make the monsters a bit less predictable because they'll just randomly turn to whichever player they want to attack. But, you know, it's still fun to play with friends, even if you fail 10 times in a row. You know, you're having fun with friends, so why not? Now, the one thing that is a bit of an accessibility barrier for people is that Freedom Unite did come out in 2008 and 9 Japan and Western release. So it is really old. So basically, you can play it on original hardware, but it only came out in the PlayStation Portable, so the PSP, which I'm assuming most of you guys probably don't have. I've got one. But even if you play it on the PSP, the claw is such a painful thing to have to do. And if you don't know what I'm talking about when I say the claw, I'm going to put a picture up on screen now. It is painful when you play for hours and hours on end. But even if you don't have a PSP, it doesn't matter. You can play through emulation through like PPSSPP, and then with that you're able to play in a higher resolution anyway. And there's plenty of multiplayer servers that you're able to go through where you can still play with friends or random people like that. So it's not like you can't do multiplayer if you're not playing on the PSP anyway. So basically what I'm saying in this video is play Freedom Unite right now. Go give it a go. If you don't have it on PSP, it doesn't matter. Go get it on emulator. Go play it. Play with some mates. Play by yourself. Doesn't matter how you play it. Just play Freedom Unite. It is, in my opinion, the best 2nd and 1st gen Monster Hunter game. Obviously, if you're going to play 3rd gen, 4th gen, there's other games, but if you want to experience early Monster Hunter pain and pleasure, play Freedom Unite, seriously. To me, it is, as I said earlier, my favorite ever Monster Hunter game, and I genuinely think if you guys play it, you will love it too.